Hey everyone, and welcome. We're going to dive into something that feels straight out of sci-fi, but trust me, it's happening right now. Collective artificial intelligence.
So, let's kick things off with a huge question. You hear about AI all the time, right? Usually we picture this one super smart machine. But what if AI could think together? What happens when you got a whole bunch of them collaborating not just as individuals, but as a single collective mind?
All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we'll nail down what collective AI actually is. Then, we'll take a look at where this idea came from. Spoiler, its nature. We'll see how we're building it in the digital world, talk about the good and the bad, and wrap up with what this all means for our future.
Okay, let's get into it. To really get what collective AI is all about, you got to realize it's basically a mashup of two huge ideas. One of them is, well, it's everywhere you look. The other one? You felt it anytime you've worked on a great team. So in the first corner, we've got artificial intelligence, AI. You know the drill. It's all about making one single smart machine. Think about a chess program crunching every possible move, or one of those language models writing a perfect email. It's basically trying to copy a single expert brain.
And in the other corner, you have collective intelligence, or CI. Now, this is totally different. It's not about one lone genius. It's all about the wisdom of the crowd. You know, like how a whole market of people decides the price of something, or how thousands of us have built Wikipedia. It's that special kind of smarts that just emerges when a group puts their heads together.
So let's put them side by side. You've got AI, which is like the solo expert, the one big centralized brain. And then you've got CI, which is more like a decentralized team, pulling from everyone's different skills. So yeah, the big takeaway, it's a single smart thing versus a smart group. That's the heart of it. So this whole idea of a smart group, where did it even come from? Well, you don't have to look far. Turns out nature has been the absolute master of collective intelligence for, just a few million years.
I mean, just look at an ant colony. Is there a little ant king with a spreadsheet giving orders? No way! Each ant is just following a couple of dead simple rules, like follow this smelly trail. But out of all those simple actions, you get these incredible, complex results. Giant nests, efficient food highways, the whole shebang. It's the same magic behind bees voting on a new hive with a dance, or those jaw-dropping murmurations of birds. The key insight here is huge. Incredibly smart group behavior can come from really simple individual rules.
Okay, so here's the billion-dollar question. What happens when you take those brilliant principles from a swarm of ants and you give them the lightning-fast processing power of modern AI?
Well, that's when you get collective artificial intelligence, CAI. This is the main event, folks. We're not talking about one AI anymore. We're talking about a whole team of AIs, these intelligent agents that work together, cooperate. And what are they doing? They're tackling problems so ridiculously complex that even the smartest single AI on the planet would just throw up its hands.
And you know, CAI isn't just one single thing. It actually shows up in a few different flavors. First, there's distributed AI. Picture a warehouse full of robots zipping around, all coordinating with each other perfectly, but with no central computer calling the shots. Then you've got hybrid participatory AI. This is where we, the humans, get in on the action and team up with the machines. A classic example is Galaxy Zoo, where tons of people like you and me help an AI sort through pictures of galaxies. And finally, there's augmented AI, which is all about using these systems to make us better thinkers, giving us tools to make smarter decisions.
Now, like any technology this powerful, this is a real double-edged sword. CAI holds an absolutely incredible amount of promise, but it also comes packed with some pretty serious risks we have to talk about. Let's start with the good stuff, because the potential here is just staggering. Think about healthcare. Imagine a collective of AIs sifting through global health data, spotting patterns that no single doctor or even team of doctors could ever hope to see. Or picture this. After a disaster, a fleet of drones and robots perfectly coordinating a search and rescue mission. We're talking about tackling massive challenges like climate change or supercharging scientific discovery by mixing our human creativity with the raw analytical horsepower of an AI collective. But of course, there's the other side of that coin. For these systems to work, they need a ton of data, which immediately brings up massive privacy flags. And what if the data we feed them is biased? Well, a CAI network could take that bias and amplify it, spreading it across the entire system. And beyond the very real fear of job losses, you have a really thorny ethical problem. If a decentralized swarm of AIs messes up and causes harm, who do you blame? Who's responsible?
And that brings us to the really big picture here. What we're talking about with CAI, it's not just another app or another gadget. In a very real way, we are designing and building an entirely new kind of intelligence on this planet.
When you boil it all down, maybe the biggest win here isn't about creating some all-powerful machine brain that does everything for us. Maybe the real goal, the true promise, is to create systems that boost our own collective intelligence, systems that help all of us think better together. So here we are, standing right on the edge of this incredible new era. The big question isn't just, what can this technology do? It's what should we ask it to do? We are literally building the collective mind. And the biggest challenge ahead for all of us is deciding what it should think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.